Maybe about an hour.
Although that was a wonderful, wonderful intro.
The chairs around Robin.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
My
Periscoping.
Let's grab that chair.
It's about to go down. These are some of my favorite people.
Y'all can see what you look like right there. I tried to put it
Can we
as
take those
large
chairs
as I
there?
can.
I'll leave that for the lead road. So that one and that one, that's all we really need. I don't mind standing up. I really don't.
Are you guys going to stand behind the podium when speaking?
Yes, we will stand
Okay.
behind the podium.
Thank you.
Are you going to stand behind the podium while speaking?
Yes, I am.
Do you want computers in your way?
What?
This would make it so much easier if I can just move that up there and have a shit ton of wires go over there.
They used to call me Bobby, and then a little girl in the 3rd grade came in with the name Bobby, and I wouldn't have it.
All joking aside, what kind of power do I have over here?
Give me some test. Speak clearly.
Test. This is Sherwin Mayo from North Carolina Vaping Council.
Yeah.
Attending.
Hell yeah.
Test.
Wow.
Can I get that one more time?
Sure. This is Sherwin Mayo from the North Carolina Vaping Council.
Can you
Test.
project more?
This is Sherwin from the North Carolina Vaping Council. Thank you for joining. Test. 1, 2, 3.
Just be able to hold this up.
People around you trying to.
Now,
Yeah, right.
Alright, let me try one more time.
this is the audio technical stuff.
This is Sherwin Mayo from the North Carolina Vaping Council. After all attending, test. 1, 2, 3.
I've got it on my left leg, so I'm just
This is Sherwin Mayo from the North Carolina Vaping Council. Thank you for attending. This is the test. 1, 2, 3.
You're going to hate saying that, so
yeah.
do you have a favorite song, sir?
You're gonna have them
Yeah,
set.
but
Can you
I
do
don't
like,
want me to sing.
can you do like, hey, you're so fine, you blow my mind?
Hey, hippie. Hey, hippie.
Go one more time for me if you don't mind.
Testing. 1, 2, 3.
Is that going to kill y'all?
We'll be fine.
Oh, I can't remember your name now. Crystal. Do I have you on my Facebook yet?
Yeah. I think
Okay, so YouTube, this is what's up. Right now, we are getting ready for Nevada.
It's advocacy time, guys.
North Carolina Vaping Council.
North Carolina Vaping Council. Sorry.
That's all right.
I apologize, they gave me the wrong name.
No, it's still Safada.
Okay, so it's
North Carolina Vaping VC.
NCVCSFATA
That's correct. Yeah, pretty much.
LMNOPQRSTUV
Yeah.
and sometimes Y.
Right. It's pretty long.
So no, this, if I've ever told you to share my channels before, we are live on Vapors TV, we are live on YouTube. I want you to get on Instagram, I want you to get on Snapchat, I want you to get on Periscope, I want you, all your social medias. These guys are going to be talking about stuff that keeps us able to use that.
Good job, Nitro.
Share up these channels. They're going to be starting here in about 6 minutes. So enjoy the stream till then. And I will see you about 6 o'clock. I have to go get dinner.
Here you go, Joe. Actually, what I'm going to do is, like I said, if you're me, I'll just do a quick intro.
You got to step to the back.
I'm going to move slightly this way. I'm just trying not to kill y'all with cables. And
Interactive. Well, he got upset. I'm a terrible public speaker, and then he spoke very well.
Who's Mountain Dew this one?
Shows up there like arrogant.
You don't have herpes, right?
No. They like it. If you do, I don't mind. Look at it. Spread.
is anybody scared in the dark?
Yes. No.
Close your eyes for a
Everybody should have said
second.
that because now it's all over YouTube.
Right? All of YouTube knows.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to fix the lighting.
The lighting is not natural, therefore GrimGreen said it's not good.
GrimGreen lied about that because if you use 56K lighting, it's better than natural, so you can record for more than 2 hours per day. They are not 56K.
They're like
They are
34.
casting you yellow as hell.
They're like 34, 32.
Wait.
I was not going to fight GrimGreen. Natural lighting's good, but it limits you on time that you can actually record. I actually went with a windowless studio, so I can record 24 hours a day and use 56
That is
gig
not why
calls.
you want to win in the studio. We all know it.
Natural.
Mixing chains in there have nothing to do with why there's no windows.
That's what I thought.
That's an overshare.
Right?
No, all joking aside,
We're talking about nitro. His
TMI.
life is TMI.
I had a choice between 3 rooms and I took the one without windows. Seriously, so I didn't have to deal with midday darkness.
Exactly.
We're good, we're live.
You guys do it whenever you want to.
We'll wait for it to fill up a little tiny bit. So,
Yeah, by all means.
yeah.
I don't have my phone.
I've done what can. I have personally shut out.
And no pockets.
You gotta love it. You got to, like, literally, they're actively on this road guard.
It's very loud and visual. Very loud.
Good job. Best thing that you ever feel in you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where did mine go?
You got to drive with right if you're clean cotton.
Is that why you have to?
That's what basically. Nice.
Okay.
It's
Yeah, I've had that. I've had the blueberry, I've had the purple fruit, I've had the strawberry. I've had them all on this.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Believe it or not, this is banana.
Yeah, really?
No, I mean, it was completely like, that's exactly how it looked.
Yeah.
I
I understand the passion.
She normally sees me for conditioning.
Yeah.
It's just like, usually like a lot of it.
The initial tax was, if I'm not mistaken.
You said what?
Because I had on,
It was 10 cents? It was, I think he's saying prior to the 5, what was it? I thought it was 80% of wholesale, 80 some weird number of wholesale first. Yeah, Jason, what was the first proposal? First proposal for the excise tax?
Wholesale or something like that?
first was the 9 and 9, so 3 and 3, so 3 per ml, 3 per.
For next week.
Per next week, 3 per ml.
That was it. That was it. And when you go calculate it out, it's like
Yeah.
$62 a fucking 30 mil or something like that for
Right, so like on the
18
15 mil, we figured out that it was going to double the cost just in tax.
that's it.
So yeah, it would be,
That was
it would
what I
be
was-
quadruple on.
Yeah, it's quad. It was 30 minutes, 4 times the value of the juice.
Yeah.
That's what it was. I knew it was something odd. I couldn't remember.
So there's gonna be a whole lot more.
And then I think South Carolina was the one that's got the
advertise
86% of wholesale. That was
Yeah.
that was what
They advertise it as dropping the tax.
Oh, yeah.
By just saying it's 3 cents, but you look at the fine print, it was 3 cents per mil plus 3 cents per next.
3 cents, then 3 cents more the next level up, and so on and so forth.
For example, so if it was the 12, it would be taxed more than the 18. Or no, more than the 6, and then 18 would have been more, and then 24 would have been even more. So 3 cents per mil plus 3 cents per nick is what they were trying to do.
That's great. Joe,
That's why we
look.
love you.
This is way more beautiful than the Joe.
Oh, make it.
Lots of letters to the California legislature.
Make it love
It's good stuff.
that. That's like porn material.
I know. That's advocacy porn.
Advocacy porn right there.
It's
Oh,
over
it's
100.
that's got to be.
It's over 100 letters to the California legislators.
Advocacy porn, isn't it awesome?
The thing that I do is move for, you know, something, and if you sit down and write a letter to your
I think they're copies. I think there's 100 total that got written. I think those are all the copies going to the different legislators.
Selling something. They're politicians, man. They believe certain boards and money in re-election.
True, very true. We're like right in the middle of the middle line. Beside state. Oh, in the state? Oh, and I'm not wrong. You said before, Mike. Right here. Yeah.
South Carolina.
Blown up their radio. When I worked at Apple, I found out they have an Apple store in Pakistan and was completely shocked. I'm like,
All right, smile, guys.
No. Perfect. Yeah, really.
Smile, Jeff.
So are you the only Californian there?
For your sake, I hope so.
Everyone's
Keep your problems to yourself, buddy.
Oh, no. I brought a whole bag along because we need some help here.
If you want us to push a few minutes and wait for some stragglers, we can.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. I know, Chris.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing? Good.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Crystal.
Robert.
How you doing? Sir.
This is Freeze. He's the best dressed man in vaping right now. He beat me because he has the best.
Full suit though.
You have the
But
best.
he doesn't. But the hat.
Chris.
The hat
He
and
got the
everything.
landing
This is
with
Jason,
the
that's
hat.
our love.
This is, how you doing? This is not a top hat. Kangol, that's right.
All right, will you be driving us toward this?
Only if you have the roles reversed, here, kid.
Oh, good shots at the five.
There's water outside.
Go to his shed. Wait a minute, you can't have a license.
I'm 15. I don't have a license. I only have a permit. I need an adult to go with me. How much shit I get being the teenage advocate?
I got ice on the booth. Cool that burn a little bit.
We're gonna wait a little bit before everybody starts. I'm just gonna kind of do some quick run around stuff, just to catch everybody up on some things.
Previously.
Previously. My name's Joe Barnett. I'm with the Vaping Militia. You guys want to come up this way? You can. Nobody will bite except Joe.
Hey, militia anyway.
I really want to thank everybody for joining us. Whether you realize it or not, you're talking to the people who are directly responsible for the fact that you can go and open your shop every day. That's really that serious. And I want to give you an idea that there's tons of scary things out there for the vaping community, the FDA and all that stuff. But your business relies on the mayor of your city waking up in a good mood. I'm not being, that's not a joke. I tell a few jokes, that one wasn't. That a city council meeting could happen tonight and vaping be banned in a city immediately. You can be told, move your shop. You can be told, you can't sell to anyone. And by the way, the lease that you've got, your landlord's not going to let you out just because the mayor said, oh, by the way, leave. How about a real-time story? 2 years ago, there's a city called Watauga, Texas, right outside of Dallas. So I'm reading through some notes in a newspaper from Dallas that talks about vape shop ban goes into effect. That's the only thing it says. And the city council in Watauga had a meeting, and 3 people attended a meeting like this. The mayor, like this. As this one person got up and said, "Those e-cigarettes are the worst things I've ever seen. I think, for the sake of Watauga, that we should give any vape shop in the city 2 years to get out of our city, and we should look seriously on whether or not they can even sell nicotine products in our city." I'd like a second on the motion. Aye. Vote. Aye, 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 aye. It's done. It happened. I watched it on video. So I get a panic phone call from a vape store owner. I gotta move. What do? I said, you get a stack of studies, and you go back in there and you say, we gotta talk about this. What studies? There's studies? This was 2 years ago. I know, I'll call CASA. Oh wait, that's for consumers. Really, there wasn't anything, no structure available for them. Luckily enough, the people at CASA realized how dangerous this was. And between Julie Wassner, myself, Patrick, and 2 other people, we assembled a 30-page letter that they presented to the city council on the next Friday. We spent, during that time, about 4 hours a night prepping each employee that worked in that store, the owner of that store, and 4 vapors with exactly what they needed to say. The results were the motion still stands. Now, the next piece of information I'm going to tell you is actually something I probably shouldn't say publicly. That a blog was written and put out that accused the mayor of killing smokers. What we do? I wrote it. Maybe I emailed him a copy. Then they went back again with the same studies again, and now they had the attention of the mayor. Because he thought this was just those crazy ex-smokers again. Now he has attention because the one thing that no one told the mayor was this product is being used by some people to quit smoking. Because as a vendor, what's the one thing you can't sell?
That's the smoking cessation product.
This is not a cessation product. But the consumer, this is what is very important. The consumer can. A consumer can give personal testimony. Okay? You as a vendor in an audience of people do not have that ability. Let me tell you something that a lot of people will shirk, and these guys behind me will. In a private setting, your personal testimony is valid. Think about what I just said there. If you have a private meeting, your personal testimony is valid, not in a public forum. Okay? This whole story seems a little strong-armish, right? Because that blog's hanging out there and the mayor's all worried about it. Yes, he did ask quite a few times, is that blog down yet? But the thing we did is we never took the blog down. We simply put the word repealed over it. Because we wanted people to see that a community can make a difference, can change something. Okay? Those numbers again were 3 and 3?
3 and 3.
Last year, the initial proposal for the tax, that 5-cent tax is a pain in your butt, was 3 cents per milliliter per nip level, which would have taken a 30 ml bottle 4 times its value to tax. These guys did you a solid. They jumped in and they did the right thing. Okay? The best thing you can do is visit every shop near you and tell them what these guys are doing and get on board with them. I said enough. They need to go and tell you what they do the best. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Appreciate it. Everyone give a big hand for Joe, please. Well, first of all, thank you all for coming. My name is Sherwin Mena. I'm the president of the SFATA chapter of North Carolina. We've got Bobby Wagner, who's also co-founder for the North Carolina Vaping Council. Crystal Wagner, who's also one of the executives for the North Carolina for SFATA as well. And then we've got Jason Joyner, who is our lobbyist from New Frame LLC. Just to clarify a couple of things, there's SFATA, North Carolina, and then there's the North Carolina Vaping Council. The North Carolina Vaping Council, we formed that so that it is a grassroots state advocacy movement. We wanted to keep the money here in North Carolina. It's nonprofit. So when you see SFATA North Carolina and you see North Carolina Vaping Council, they truly are kind of one and the same. Just realize that the North Carolina Vaping Council was established to keep the money here in North Carolina so that we can handle issues on a state level. So this is the sign that you should be seeing on storefronts that really care about this industry and are interested in doing this for the long term because they're committing themselves, they're interested in taking care of the advocacy questions, and they're also contributing to help pay for the costs for not only the lobbyists, but also for additional costs as well. This is a 501c4, it's a nonprofit. The books are completely open. For those of you who want to join, we're always happy to go ahead and keep them open for everyone. Additionally, it allows us to fundraise, and more importantly, it will eventually allow us to do campaign contributions once we have more members on board. So that was the main reason why we went ahead and we did that. So North Carolina Vaping Council, that's what you want to see. SFATA North Carolina, we do that to coordinate with federal lobbyists to make sure that we're on par with states, because what's good for one state may be bad for another state as well. But NCVC is where it's at, and that's what we're concerned about right here. So North Carolina Vaping Council. We talked a little bit about the excise tax. How many here are shop owners? All right, awesome. All of you are familiar with the excise tax? I'm sure all of you love it. It's wonderful. We've talked with the North Carolina Department of Revenue. We've dealt with them quite directly. We've had meetings with them, and you know, it is what it is. It's based on a 1970 tobacco law. It really has no bearing on this industry whatsoever, but they really had no basis on how to judge it, so they just used what they had, and unfortunately that's what we're stuck with. In North Carolina, we are categorized not only as a vapor product, we're also categorized as a tobacco product. But we'll talk a little bit about that a little bit more. As far as the excise tax is concerned, just to give you a couple of numbers, the North Carolina Department of Revenue projected between 1,000 to 2,000 license applications to be submitted. So far, they've received around 250 to 300. So it's either a question of there's a lot of shops that have not filed for that application because they still don't know and they don't know what's going on, or the North Carolina Department of Revenue is completely clueless. So it could be a combination of the two. That's pretty much where my train of thought is. So if you know of other shops that you are friendly with, just make sure that they have their other tobacco product license, make sure that they are in compliance, make sure that that they have the excise tax is being paid. We want to be in conformity. We don't want to have other shops set a bad precedent and have the revenue officers make an example of a shop which we can make a correction for. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to turn this on over to Jason Joyner. He's our lobbyist here in North Carolina. He's with New Frame LLC. He's going to give you a legislative update on what's going on and what currently is possibly going to happen in the future. So, Jason.
Hey guys, can everybody hear me? You can hear me, I'm going to go without the mic. I don't like being on record. My name's Jason, and I'm going to follow up Joe's story with another story. 2.5 years ago, I'm sitting in the back of room 643, which if you've been to the General Assembly, it's a big committee room upstairs in the LOB. It is where all the big hitter issues happen. If you're going to have a brawl, this is where it starts. And I was there with a variety of other client interests, and I'm sitting in the back, and I hear someone start talking about, what about this tax on these cigarettes? Well, these electronic cigarettes, you know, you plug them into the wall, and what are you talking about? So I started listening, and they talk about it, and I can say that day they talked about taxing vets at a higher rate. They talked about a toll road, I-77 near Charlotte. That was a big deal. It was an 11-hour committee meeting. It was an all-day affair. 5 cents per ml, that took about 30 seconds. I sat in the back of the room, and as a hired gun for different industries, I watched absolutely no one step up to the plate. Not a shop owner, not a juice maker, not a consumer, not an advocacy group. That afternoon, I'm standing outside doing my normal, checking Twitter, checking Facebook, checking emails, vaping. And one of the members walks up and she says, "Hey Jason, where were your people on that? I don't know what you mean." She's like, "Well, there's no one there." I said, "Yeah, I know it. That's a little concerning." I started vaping in 2010, got all my stuff on a slow boat from China. Later went on to Misty at the state fair. Started buying stuff on Saturdays. You know, had to plan your whole week around when you were going to get your vape stuff. Later, I met Bobby and Crystal. They opened a shop in my hometown. I'm a big supporter of hometown business, so I started shopping there. This year, there was a couple bills that were introduced. Joe talked about the 3 and 3. So we got the 5. We earned it because we didn't do anything about it. I'll be honest with you, 5 cents per ml is a flat tax. It's pretty consistent, pretty low if you average it among other groups. What you can know, 2 things: if you're not taxed, you're going to be taxed. And if you're not taxed and you're making money, you want to be taxed. If I was walking around for clients that had no tax income, they don't care who I am or how pretty my suit is, they're not going to listen to me. I'm not bringing them any money. So we got the 5 cent tax. So what do they do? Well, July of last year, we increased their tax from nothing to 5 cents per ml. Nobody said anything. So I knew it. Third day of session. 3 or 4 different bills start floating around. We kind of get to see them before they come out. They follow the 3 and 3. Okay, so we went and talked to them. That's when I started talking to these guys. I started saying, "Hey, look, guys, it's getting serious. Like, if you thought the 5 was bad, just wait." And I'll be honest with you, the 3 was the low number. That was just setting up a metric, so we're going to tax ML and nicotine separately. Once you get in committee, it's, well, if no one stands up, well, if the 3 is good, 5 sounds better. We did 5 last time, let's do 5 and 5. You will continue to be taxed until you say something. We worked with that senator as well as a couple other folks. NCBC has good connections with the finance chairman, with the appropriations chairman in both houses. We work with staff. So I and the vice president of government and legislative affairs for New Frame, between myself and my business partner, we've been in the political game for about 20 years. We also, at the height this summer, had 2 interns and 3 lobbyists below me working on this issue. If you said vapor, if you said something that sounded like vapor, we were getting phone calls and we were getting pulled into the room. I say that to say this. Less than 2 years ago, we watched our industry get taxed and no one said a thing. This morning, anybody know what House Bill 97 is? House Bill 97, anybody heard of? So that's your Appropriations Act of 2015. We're on budget day 67 of not having a budget in North Carolina. This is the bill that they're discussing. This is the bill that they're having issues with. This is what will go forward. Now there's a couple ways bills become law. We have the "I'm a bill" on Capitol Hill. It doesn't work at all like that. They missed the lobbyist part. So you run a bill from the House to the Senate to the House, everyone votes, rah, rah, shish, rah, we're good to go. It stops in various committees. That is one way that a bill becomes law. Some of the other advocacy folks in the room will give you the other piece, which is the budget. So we legitimately tomorrow could have legalized marijuana if the House and the Senate leadership that are negotiating out this budget decide to say, oh, and by the way, in the budget this year, we're going to appropriate that marijuana's not legal. Big Bird could join the North Carolina Hall of Fame. Anything you want to happen can happen in the budget. This is like the one free-for-all. Every lobbyist in the so I left this morning, I was going to be here at 8:30. I got a text message, hey, can we do breakfast? Well, if it hadn't been a senior member of the finance chairman, I would have told him, hey, at 6:30 in the morning, if you text me again, your retainer's going up. But as the finance chairman, so we sat down. We know, we feel very confident that we have read the budget for the state of North Carolina for this year. You'll probably see that in the middle of next week, towards the end of next week. That's going to come out, and there's going to be no new tax for vapors in there. There's going to be no new regulations for vapors in there. North Carolina is going to be a good place to be for the vaping industry going forward. Will we have to fight it again next year? Absolutely. Senator Stan Bingham, Davidson County, just up the road, sponsored Senate Bill 286, Save the Children, an act to protect children. Started off as child-proof. We're going to make these things child-proof. Talking about the containers. Do we know as an industry that's somewhere we're going? Absolutely. Do we as shop owners not want to be liable for stupidness anyway? Yeah, protect yourself from the public. You got to protect yourself from your customer about half the time. We get that. The bill came forward. This was right as I was getting hired. Went and had a conversation with him. He said, I don't really see that bill moving too much, this year. I'm not even going to run again. And my intern said, oh, great. He doesn't really care. And I said, you hear the last 3 words. I'm not even going to run again. Yet that's scary. If you're in politics, that's scary. I'm not running again. He's lost one of his motivations, which is getting reelected. We went in and read the bill with Senator Bingham. As I exited his office on the first day, he put his, let's just say we got close. And he said, I'm going to ruin your industry. Point in case. That was it. I'm going to ruin your industry. Now, when I called these guys that night, I said, hey guys, it's getting a little stressful. He seems a little heated, but I'm going to fix it tomorrow. I'm going to fix it tomorrow. And I went home and prayed that I was going to be able to fix it tomorrow. We went in the next day and we figured out what the problem was. I got back in his office and the lobbyists from Lorelei and the lobbyists from RJR were both sitting at the table. And he said, oh, well, if you want to work on my bill, you need to talk to these guys. And I turned around and we had a little exchange of, sir, this is your bill, this isn't their bill. And one of them pretty frankly reminded me that no, it was his bill. Completely understand it, completely appreciate it, that's part of the game. Well, it's convenient that you get a section C of Senate Bill 286 and it says any closed circuit system does not apply. Can't touch it. Well, congratulations, you have a card about. Well, we meet the standard. We don't need this bill because we meet the standard. Well, if you meet the standard, you don't need the card about. We went rounds and rounds, and the beauty of having people on the ground, knowing shop owners, understanding what's going on, and the beauty of having 5 people down there lobbying for you guys is we changed it. So now we define child. What is a child? Previously it said a child that has the ability to open a package and consume an amount that is dangerous to them. You will be charged with a Class 1A misdemeanor, which is the highest level of misdemeanor in the state of North Carolina, 1 under a felony. So I sell them something, and it's a child. So classify that. My mom still would probably say that if I could get into it, that's. But just it was poorly written, and it was poorly written intentionally. You got to remember, he's not writing the bill. He says that I saw a kid in New York that got a hold of this stuff and they died. He said that in every single committee. The only thing that changed is we had a conversation with them. We had a conversation with RJR. We reminded them that they were big tobacco. We reminded some of the groups that were helping support this bill because it seemed like a good thing that they were teamed up with big tobacco and they might not just jump on board because they feel like something's moving. We worked to change that, so now the child has to be less than 5. we went to model from the federal standards so that some of the language we got in there is a federal standard. Child's got to be less than 5. It's got to be a reasonable amount of time. We sent it to both legislative staff as well as my council, and both parties said, I don't see how you prosecute anybody under this standard. It's going to have to be an egregious act. If you get prosecuted under the law as it stands, I couldn't have helped you. We were able, though, to change the message. We walked in with something that would have ended our industry, something that would have changed every juice manufacturer. You know, the shops that you have, the juices you get in from out of state, you're not going to be able to carry them. You know, the people that come for specific things, huge changes, and we were able to go in and change it. And by the end, he was standing up. Now, granted, I didn't change his whole message. He still said, this tastes like bubble gum and kids want to drink it, to a degree. But by the end, he was walking in and saying, Lorelei supports this, RJR supports this, the North Carolina Vapor Council has been in consult. They appreciate the work we've done, and we appreciate you moving the bill forward. Now, if you watched any of the California stuff, if you watched any of the Indiana stuff, having a member walk in and give them 3 lines talking about the interest groups that supported it, and then basically saying, please don't touch my bill, they'll kill it if you do, is good. We have friends down there now. Senator Bingham went on TV after that. They said, Senator Bingham, you're retiring, blah, blah, blah. And he said, yes, I'm retiring. I have colleagues, though. And he's got a couple other issues. He said, well, we all know this is new, and it's up and coming. We were able to work with the vapor guys. That's what we call this. I've tried. And he finally quit calling me the e-cigarette cigar people. I don't know where he got that, but we were able to work with the vapor guys, and we came to a consensus. But taxes are coming, and we all know more regulations coming. I think he's right. I think we all know he's right. I think moving forward, what we're going to need is a concerted group gathered around pushing the message forward. It's going to take some grassroots. It's going to take you guys talking to your city councils. It's going to take you guys at the lower, it's going to take the consumers. What I would challenge you to do, and this is kind of what we've been challenging people to do as we walk by their rooms or walk by their booths today, look at NCVC as the chamber for vaping in North Carolina. I spoke with several people today that have local issues. You said you're from the Outer Banks?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So you put a sign up out on the road and the town says, that sign's too big, sign's too small. You're a part of NCVC, you make that phone call, like, hey, we're just getting some pushback, and maybe it's real, like maybe it's legitimate and we're doing something wrong. But we don't really know. Give me a call. That's one of the first things anyone that joins NCVC gets is my contact information. I like to know to talk to people directly. So then we call Representative Time. So Representative Time, hey look, you switched parties. It's getting a little hairy for you, don't you think? Look, you really don't want to mess with our guy. How can we help you? So at the local level, that's my background is town administration, city county management. I was working in local politics. And then at the State House, the State House is my wheelhouse. That's where I like to be. But we want to help you from the very lowest level of getting those permits, getting you connected to other manufacturers, getting you brought into the community. And then as you grow and you expand and you go into other counties, you don't have to worry about, how am I going to go? Am I going to Hyde County? Or how am I going to go into Craven County? I don't know. We already have those connections. We already know the politics. We already know the policy. We help guide your business. We help move you forward. And then on the bigger issues, we take care of them at the state level. I'll give you the grand summary. There was 9 bills introduced this year that could have affected us or affected our industry in some way between regulation, tax, and where you're allowed to use the product. The one bill I just told you about was the bill that we took, helped edit, and then pass along. The other 8 are all sitting in one of 3 committees. If you go pull them up, you'll see that they're in committees, and you'll also see it's the same chairman for most of those committees, or one of 3. Anybody from the western part of the state? Tom Apodaca Senate Rules Chairman. He's kind of like the biggest guy in the Senate, not literally, but almost, but figuratively. He's a big small business guy. We have taken the other 8 of those 9 and placed them strategically where we do not see them ever coming out again. Now if they do, we're watching, we're waiting, and they know that there's going to be more of a fight if they come out of committee. But we've strategically put them in different committees that it's the equivalent of what we call killing a bill. When you hear someone say I killed a bill, that's generally what they meant. They send it to a committee that it will never come out of. Other than that, we'll wait for the gavel to fall. Hopefully, for my wife's sake, we'll see that gavel fall here in the next couple weeks. And with that, I'll give it back to Cheryl.
All right, thank you. Please, everyone, just thank you. First of all, I want to thank everyone that's here for coming. I mean, I love the vaping industry. I got into this industry because of my wife and because of myself. And I think a lot of us tend to forget that the main reason why we're in this industry is to prevent people from smoking. You know, cloud chasing is fine, but in the end, it ultimately comes down to, you know, stop people from getting on the stinkies. My father, he passed away with stage 4 lung cancer like 2007, and if these things were more readily available, I really think he would be around today. So everyone that's here has a role to play. And even though I do love this community, in a certain sense, I'm kind of sad because this room should be full. This room should be packed with people standing outside that door. And it's not. So everyone here has a responsibility. Everyone here is a delegate to go ahead and spread this message to make sure that other shops know that we're here. That's the only way that we're going to survive. And that's as a very tight-knit, communicative community. Everything put aside, regardless of this shop or that shop, I think the only way we're going to survive is that every single one of us has that responsibility to spread it. If you're a shop owner, then you need to talk to other shop owners, whether you like them or not, to tell them about the North Carolina Vaping Council, to tell them what we're doing, to join. If you are a consumer and you frequent a shop, it's your responsibility to go and talk to the shop and say, hey, I love shopping here, but why isn't this sticker on your window? We've got a lot to do. We don't have much time, and if you think it's going to get easier, it's not. It's going to get harder. But we've got some ambitious goals up ahead. Next session, we would like to go ahead and try to categorize vapor separate from tobacco. But it's not going to be easy, and we're going to need more people than this in this room to make it happen. So please, everyone here, if you want to continue vaping, if you want to continue to be part of this community, you want to see it thrive, and you want to see it helping others, everyone's got a responsibility to spread this word. So, aside from that, does anyone have any questions? We'd like to take a little Q&A session here. Does anyone have any questions regarding the excise tax? Does anyone have any questions from a consumer point of view? How to join. If you're not a member, or if you want to tell people to become a member, how can they join? They can go ahead onto our website, www.ncvapingcouncil.com. We've got a donate button. You click that button, you press recurring payment, you become a member. We'll send you a sticker, we'll send you a poster so it'll distinguish your shop, and we'll also send, for an additional cost, some flyers for your shop as well. That's the easiest way. Yes, ma'am. ncvapingcouncil.com.
It's also its own website, all of the members.
Yep. And we're also going to go ahead and shoot the list of the current members are there. Shoot us your
your logo, and we'll put your logo up on there so it indicates that you're also a business member. If you're a consumer, again, you spread the word, tell them about us, ask them why they don't have this sticker in their shop. Any questions? Yes.
The UK just, sorry, the UK just released the 95% safer than cigarettes, right? You think the US will follow ahead with the FDA findings and stuff?
No. I wish they did. You want to take that one? Yeah.
Question of the month. Okay, the UK said that they were going to be able to use them as 90%, 5% safer, and that they could be used as a cessation product. Again, they're 95% safer, and they can be used as a cessation product. Remember the first thing I talked about?
Yeah.
What is this not? So you just got your answer for the U.S. Sure. It's not a cessation product, and, correct me if I'm wrong here, anytime you got a lawmaker that you have that, if it's not that, a lawmaker doesn't understand anything else you said. They close their ears. So we can use it as, I hate this word, anecdotal evidence. Okay? They'll use that. What that means is you have a valid point, but I'm ignoring it. But we will not be able to use it in that manner. And keep in mind also that if this product was to become a cessation product, which we've already fought this case already in court, it cost about $15 million and put one e-cigarette company, Freedom Smokes, out of business. Okay? If this ever becomes a cessation device, it comes off the shelf until it's proven safe. Notice the word I use. Proven safe. Not 95% safer than cigarettes. Safe. Okay? Will it ever be?
No.
Water's not safe. How's this going?
The air under combo is nice.
Okay?
I want to speak just kind of somewhat to that of like what would that difference be? What do we see? So Sherwin mentioned the separating us from tobacco. Right now in Oklahoma, we are codified as vaping products. There's a subsection they put in when they wanted the taxes. We are also referred to as tobacco. So that's a push for us this year. We have a couple people, smokers, that are going to talk about the fact we're not tobacco. I tried. I don't like it. Tastes like candy. We're going to try a couple different ways to get that separated. That's the big overarching goal moving forward this year. The other thing, and I'm just going to hope that RJR isn't listening to whatever feed this is. We got a little trick up our sleeves, and we're looking forward to it. We're thinking maybe, you know, might get some of the national guys in just to come watch this. Joe and I were talking about it earlier.
I love it.
We're in a child advocacy bill talking about the safe stuff, right? Initially, that was going to go to the Department of Health and Human Services in the state of North Carolina, which I don't know if you follow North Carolina politics. It's kind of like the last department you want to deal with. And they were going to determine what packaging lettering should go on the side. Just a panel from people that they appointed. They were going to decide, they were going to send it back. So they could have written a trilogy. They could have written an encyclopedia. They could have written whatever they wanted. We would have been bound by law to put that on the side of every product we sold. So we got rid of that, and in the process of getting rid of that, we were dealing with RJR, and we said, well, we'll just put that it contains nicotine, and that it's of this strength, because that's how we already do it, right? RJ came in, and this is at the point that RJ and I we've sung through by y'all, we sat down, we have red ink pens, and we're writing this law. And we changed it, so this product contains nicotine. Hey, I'm fine with that. My job as a lobbyist is to get it as least restrictive as possible. So I just push the ball that way. That's my job. But being involved in the community, I realized why RJ didn't want to talk about that. I went to the senator that was slighted by them, and we've had some conversations. And you're going to see some very interesting language come out of a bill, probably the second or third day of session. That bill is, and I'll defer to you, one thing we would have loved in California is a little bit more time between a bill and the next committee and the next committee. Everybody that is having to fight an issue just needs like 2 more days. Well, this particular bill, not that I have given you the idea of what RJ might have to talk about, this bill is going to be introduced on a Monday. It's going to committee on Tuesday. You got 12 hours to figure out how you are, for the first time in the United States, going to talk about the level of nicotine in your product. And oh, by the way, you're gonna do it in front of a committee. So if you lie, it's not good.
I hope your definition actually includes the words tobacco-derived nicotine, though.
Well, we are making sure that we have the legal language completely sewed up, because the one thing I want more than anything is for big tobacco to be sewed up and have to testify on that committee. We're in Winston, man. We are in the heart of big tobacco. And they are deep down there. The guys, the North Carolina RJR guy is a 65-year-old man that's the former VP of Legislative Affairs for RJR, former special counsel at Nixon. We have heavy hitters in North Carolina because this is where all the tobacco policy is set for everywhere else. We're going to have fun with them. We're going to get us separated out. And I hope that kind of answers your question of how we think in the U.S. we can do better, is getting us away from tobacco. And then we can figure out the rest. But first we got to break this bond we have with tobacco.
You got a question?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for everything you guys have done. The second thing I heard is about the federal. There's a lot of people saying Fed tax is going to come down like 20%, or I mean, once the state got their exercise tax, how about the feds?
Okay.
Federal tax, you're talking about?
Additional.
There is no such thing as a federal tax.
Okay.
The taxation is done at the state level.
Okay.
That's why when you buy a pack of cigarettes in New York, it costs you $22. And down here, what's a pack run? $6?
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay. I just want to add one other thing. There's this amazing thing that people don't think about, and I'm going to ask a very pointed question. How much money did you guys raise to pay this gifted individual here last year?
Not last year, because we didn't.
Or let's say where we're at so far?
Not very much.
Not much at all.
Yeah.
So would we say more than $10,000?
No.
No. $300 million. Anybody care to, anybody know what that number is? You know what it is exactly. What is that number? That's what Reynolds alone spent in lobbyists last year.
I've got one better for you than that. So there's the House and the Senate in North Carolina, and then you have the governor's mansion. Technically, he's still relevant. And then in each of those, you have the Democrats and the Republicans. So technically, 5 bodies you could give money to get influence. RJR, not Lorelei, just RJR, in North Carolina, to one of those bodies, to one party within that body, $50,000 last year. $50,000 last year. Now, I'll give you that their expenditure on lobbyists isn't what. I came to this because I came to talk to Ashley. I came into the vape shop. Like, this was an issue for me. But the amount of money that they spend compared to other industries, Reynolds versus, Reynolds versus Nationwide, Reynolds versus Blue Cross Blue Shield. Who has a bigger issue right now than insurance companies at the state level? They're still outspending them. And they're outspending them in one chamber.
Guys, think about this on a national scale. Okay? A national scale. Help me out a little bit here, Stefan. California's organized. Utah, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut. Did they get them hired? Thank God. Michigan's got a lobbyist. Kansas has got a lobbyist. Texas has got 2 lobbyists. And Louisiana just fired theirs.
Which is still less than 40% of the states.
Thinks we got a problem? So, not only just North Carolina, but if you talk to vape shops outside of North Carolina, we need to get everybody on board with this. Got to get this done.
You forgot Wyoming.
Wyoming.
Where we have 6 vape shops in total.
Yes.
Oh.
So they stepped up. 6 big ass vape shops. Any other questions? All right, I got a couple of questions that I usually throw to Jason that I think is for the benefit of shop owners. Media. How do you handle media if they come into your shop?
This is, well, one, that door they just came in, it goes both ways. Hey, Laura Leslie from WRL, look, I really appreciate you coming out and talking to me. I really appreciate your interest in our business. We want to give you the best story you can get. So let me get your contact information, and I'm gonna have our legislative council get back in touch with you. We'd love to bring you back in and talk to you, but I just can't do it right now. I'm a small business owner. I do not care. I do this. So like I am someone that talks for a living. I don't give an interview on first call, ever. I will hang up the phone and call you right back. It just doesn't work. You need to know what the story is about. They do not want to come in and talk about your business and how wonderful it is. They don't want to do that with anybody. There's a reason that if it bleeds, it leads. So it's always a good idea to back up, call other people in the community, and then, you know, if you're part of NCVC, ideally what you want to do is alert us. We have people that's what we do. My business partner, I've sent him out to talk for me before, like that. You could throw him into the bowels of hell if you'd be convincing people it was great. It's not that you can't say what we're going to say. It's not that you didn't think about it. It's just that we want to slow the process down. If it's going to be good news, it'll be good news tomorrow. There's nothing, and the more rushed you are and the more rushed they are, the worse it's going to get. So that's just, I give that advice to everybody. I gave that advice to my wife's third grade class of kids. Like, hey, if the media calls you, it's just like the cops. Just say that right up the bat. Tell them to call you back tomorrow.
If you don't mind me throwing out a story then for vendors specifically, in Atlanta, which is where I'm from, we had a vape shop that was targeted for what was supposed to be a fluff piece about small business. And the team couldn't have been more stacked in their favor, and still, 24 hours later, they're like, yeah, come on. They brought him in, they brought in the news team, except all of the interview footage with the actual people that were talking about tobacco harm reduction and talking about small business, that got cut. That didn't make it there. The 30 seconds of vapors that was on the air were cloud chasers and talking about fruity flavored e-liquor. That's what they wanted to air, and that's what they got.
So from the time that that camera walks in, that camera is filming. It's what he does. He catches B-roll footage. He just catches footage because he's going to produce it. And that reporter, their job is to make news, but their bigger job is to make their news editor happy. So while their motivations may have been perfectly wholesome, eventually there's someone that needs ratings, and they're going to cut that to whatever they need to. It's nothing against the media. I love the media. When we were doing good things with the childproof containers, we got good media off of it. But it's done in a way that you can control it. We missed an opportunity in the western part of the state this year. They wanted to comment. I could see the reporter. I could see him. I knew who he just talked to. I knew what she said about us. And there was nothing in me more. I got mad at these guys.
Yeah, it was a missed opportunity. It was a growing pain.
Let's just go say something. That's all this report. I know the reporter. Could we have spun it a little bit? Yeah, we're still looking like we got a black eye. What do we get? We stalled him. And I told him, I said, hey, Bill, if this is going to be good, it'll be good later. You got to give me till 5 so I can get everybody on board, because there's a process about this. And what that process got us that day is we reached out to North Carolina Vapor Council. They were unable to comment due to ongoing committee meetings that day. He's going to do a follow-up story. We'll control that one. But yeah, media, be careful.
So please, don't say anything and give us a call.
So, one other thing about media. In Michigan, you guys may have heard about this. There was all this stuff about these kids that were using the synthetic marijuana in a vaporizing device. The strange thing that happened was in Detroit, there was an interview, and it was one of the best interviews I've seen that was done on THR in a shop, and we had two national advocates, myself, and Greg Connolly, and a great story that got aired about a business that was really bringing in new customers in that area. The same footage rolled the next day that opened with a bottle of Darth Vapor. 2 children poisoned and the same footage was rolled again. This time, we didn't say anything. All it was our pictures behind this talking about this kid that got poisoned. So sometimes when the media comes in, they want that footage just for what he said, stock, which means they use it whenever they want to. You have no control. So think about that.
So, one more thing on media. Some of you guys may or may not know, I work in the film industry. I've done a lot of editing, I've done a lot of filming, really grabbed a lot. Now, the thing about media, I was also a Raleigh police officer for over 7 years. I was on the community squad. So I was constantly in front of television channels, trying to be interviewed. I had to go to community meetings and had to speak on behalf of the police department in these community meetings where the newspaper was there and magazines were there. All they're looking for is what they call as sound bites. All it takes is, I could interview any of you guys, put you down, get you talking, and make you say something that you really didn't even say, or didn't even mean. So I know emotionally when the media comes, you're like, yes, this will be great advertising for my business. That's the first thing that's probably going to go through your head. But reality is they're looking for those sound bites. Now what you say, and if you ever notice, how many of you guys have ever seen on the news, officer involved shooting and the police department has not made a comment? Happens all the time. And months will go by and they haven't said anything. There's a reason behind the reason why they don't say anything right away. Is because they need to make sure all their facts are right, and that what they say is strategically planned in how they say it. So it's very, very important, because if I make you say something today, and don't think that footage is for just that one news article. Because guess what? It could come out today, but 3 years later, when something else is coming up, they can say, ooh, I remember so-and-so saying this, and it can help support our cause. So you just be very, very cautious on how you say, well, don't say anything to the media, because there is those small sound bites that they're looking for, that they can turn things around to make you sound like you said something that is not exactly what you said. Because I could make people do it any day. So, well, I can talk a little bit if you want me to talk about it.
Absolutely.
Currently, right now, I'm actually working on a documentary. It's called VapeMania. It's been kind of small key right this second, where we've been talking with a lot of the industry leaders. One great thing about having a vapor doing it is I'm going to be able to make sure everyone says the things I want them to say, and it come out in favor for us. VapeMania is really not just about the advocacy side, but we're really getting down to the science of it, because I honestly believe the best way to fight this is to educate the general public. And most people in the general public may find something on WRAL or the news or whatever, they'll watch that and that's about it. They're not going to go on YouTube or on news articles and research and look at these big researchers that some of the big guys are doing and really get the hardcore facts. They're going to take that and run with it. And the more people that get fed this misled information or leading some vital information out of these studies, the worse it's going to look for us, because the general public's going to be giving you that face when you walk by vaping, thinking that they're going to get cancer because you walk by them. So through the documentary, we've actually been able to, some of the biggest guys, we've talked to SoCal, Safada, I think we're going to be interviewing him. We're going to be interviewing, we talked with Erica from Local Vape. I know we've talked to GrimGreen. He's been interviewed. Vapor Shark's supposed to be getting us down there. Who else has talked to? Adam with Lighthouse. I've talked to so many people. We also got something lined up right now. Yep, I'm going to be talking with Stefan. We also got, gosh, I forgot his name. Yes. I've got an interview set up with him down at Duke, because there's a huge nicotine research development thing down there that they're all for, actually, nicotine and the effects of that. So I'm working with the doctor there, hopefully, and another thing with the Heart Association in Florida. So.
But the big thing about this is it's not going to be something that's shown at just vapor events or on YouTube, where vapors are going to go and look on YouTube. And there's nothing wrong with that, because educating us is still important. But what this is, the outlet that we're looking at for this, between film festivals, and we can't release one of the things, but we're talking to a
I had the opportunity, I can't talk about who it was, but I had the opportunity. I had an opportunity yesterday. I was asked to submit the project to a television channel for a possible series. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed on that. Can't release any other information on that right now.
But those are things that the general public are looking at. The general public are getting more educated. They're not just getting the little tidbits that the media is throwing out there, because they're running with it. I mean, if you're a shop owner, or even if you're a vapor, how many people do you stop you on the side of the street and tell you that's going to give you cancer? How many shop owners have people coming in trying to tell why are you selling, stuff that antifreeze? Why are you, I mean, I have people come in the shop all the time. If you're a shop owner, if you work in a shop, we do need to be educated, but they're grabbing these little tidbits and they're running with it. So we're trying to get it out further than just our group, because our group, we're all, pretty educated.
Just to let you know a little bit about it, our last short film that we did made it to the Cannes Film Festival in France. It's been in many other countries, been all over the U.S. and over 50 different film festivals, winning many awards. So now I've already got these film festivals wanting this documentary. So it's a great avenue to get to the general public in these different cities. So.
All right, so that's good news. So awesome, thanks.
I heard something also about embalming fluid. They say that it's
Formaldehyde?
embalming fluid.
Formaldehyde.
That's a,
You have to actually reach it to a certain temperature to actually ever get
If you're
any of
taking
that.
90-second polls,
How do you
perhaps.
do that, get that to the public and.
So we've got some studies that were
Ask the read to allow you vape,
formaldehyde.
formaldehyde, yeah.
So we got some studies that we're going to be, I wish I could speak a little bit more on that from the research I've done. I've done some, but that is one of the elements that is going to be addressed in the documentary.
The Farsalina study that was done a year ago really clearly debunked that as being the dry puff, they call it dry puff phenomena, and the documentation's already been out there. It is peer reviewed already, so it's yet another one of those things that you can throw at and say, well, that's been debunked.
Yeah, a guy from NBC came in and completely pulled the story because he was like, this is crap. What are you talking about? They cherry-picked something and gave the worst of the worst, and people just heard that. They didn't read the rest. But that's a good example of them just reading the cherry-picked stuff that's going on national news and not researching it for themselves.
Looking for the sound bites.
Yes, sir.
They actually discovered on that they did in fact create formaldehyde, but that was caused by heating a CE4 disposable tank to such a temperature that they melted the tank.
Yep.
And that production was what causes it. It wasn't really liquid, it wasn't even the cotton, it was the plastic of a disposable tank.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're heating a disposable tank to that degree, why are you vaping?
Yeah.
The point they completely left out was, they did not consult people who actually use the product. You could have told them, well, if you did that, you're gonna be gagging. You're
Yeah.
gonna be keeling over.
Any other questions?
I don't want to sound like a jerk, but is this documentary being paid for with advocacy by any chance?
No.
Yeah.
To influence people?
Great question.
Not
That is a great question.
It's a great question.
CJ,
and
great question.
To be honest with you, just about almost all the money has come out of me and my wife's pocket personally. And we do have a GoFundMe page if anyone did want to go and help with it. We've raised a little bit of money through that, and all the money that comes from GoFundMe is actually going towards traveling expenses only, and none of it goes into pockets of people. It's all just for the documentary.
Yeah.
Do you have the GoFundMe page?
It's GoFundMe.com/VapeMania. You can go to VapeMania.com and you can find it from there as well.
He just started this because with him, he's been in film for 12, 15 years, and when we started the advocacy stuff, we started researching more and learning more all the time, and he just was like, there's nothing like this that's being done. And the film festivals that he was going to were like, hey, when's your next project coming out, this and this, and he's like, you know what, this is a story that needs to be told. And so him and I did it separately from the advocacy stuff. And honestly, the only place that we've been so far is we were in California for ECC, and we were able to interview a ton of people because they were there. And then through that, we have a few different companies that are going to be bringing us out to see their facility, talk with their people. We're looking at talking to a patent lawyer in Atlanta because we found some patents that are actually really old.
I found one that was submitted back in 1927.
for the e-cig, which people don't believe, but we're looking at it. We were talking to a patent lawyer to see the legalities of it, if it's something, because what we read was that it was
It's in perpetuity. They wanted it.
Yeah.
So whoever develops a vape, they would have to pay royalties on that patent regardless of
Yeah, and that's what we're trying to
manufacturing
find,
or
the legal side of it, because that would be something the FDA is saying this is new in 2007, but we're finding patents all the way back to 1927. So we want to see if that legally stands up, because you know the government, if they're going to do something, they don't really research it. They just get an idea in their mind and they run with it. So we want to kind of, and the other thing we want to do with this is, you know, the California, you know, they had a lot of the industry people come up and talk, and they're like, oh, well, they're just saying this stuff because this is their industry. So we're talking with industry leaders and backing it up with professionals, lawyers, doctors, because we want to give the vaping industry some clout. We're not just spewing rhetoric for our own agenda. I mean, it is our agenda, but it's not just stuff that we're making up in our heads. So that was the point, that was the original, you know, birth of the VapeMania, is we wanted to take industry leaders, what they knew, and back it up with scientific, real things that are not doctors that are, you know, paid by us. That's why we don't pay anybody to interview them. We want them to tell us, you know, we want them to back us up. So that's the point of it.
So GoFundMe,
.com/VapeMania.
VapeMania,
Yeah.
if you guys want to contribute. Any other questions? Thank you very much. I think we pretty much touched everything. Again, please do what you can to spread the word. Anyone in North Carolina, you're all delegates of this community, so it's your responsibility to make sure that everyone knows a little bit about what we're doing here. Yes, sir.
The VapeMania that you're doing, is that going to be, is that North Carolina specific, or is that available for
No,
everyone?
it will not be North Carolina specific. I'm going everywhere. You know,
Okay.
we were in California. I'll be going to Florida, Texas. I got lined up, and you know, the researcher's actually from Greece, so I'm going to be So I'm going to be talking with him. If I can't say anything more about North Carolina Vaping Council before you guys go, get involved now before the hurricane comes. Everyone here knows what a hurricane is. You don't wait until the hurricane's here before you start boarding up your windows, because by then it's probably too late. You know, you don't wait until the hurricane's here to go get your milk, eggs, and bread, because they're already sold out.
You do, but.
You know, anyone who's been through a storm, don't wait until it's too late. Please don't wait until it's too late. We need it now before the crap storm hits, because we need to be prepared for it. We cannot wait until the last minute. The film industry in North Carolina, I don't know if any of you guys are into the film industry, they dropped the ball with the tax incentive. We had a 25% tax incentive where millions of dollars was coming into the state. But
That's why
they didn't have it set up right with the right lobbyists and stuff down fighting for us with a good voice that's backing us up. And they just kind of all wanted to get out there and with picket signs, which created a different image and the wrong image, and they still squashed the bill, no matter how many people were out there with picket signs screaming and yelling and all that other
They didn't
stuff.
squash it.
They completely did away with the incentive, and now you've got a bunch of people up and leaving our state, going somewhere else. So this is the way it works, and we've seen it work so far with the small things, and as it gets harder, we're going to need the finances to make it happen. We don't get paid to do this. We do it all for free. And 100% of the money goes right towards any educating, lobbying, that's it. 100% goes to that. So we're not here to make this a business for ourselves.
Is that all you guys got?
That's it.
Okay. These guys have done a lot. Let's give a big hand for them. For the last 2 months, I've been talking, every time I talk to a group, I remind you of this one simple fact, okay? Everybody knows what a slacktivist is, right? Sits under us and lets the advocates do it, right? We all know what an activist is a person who gets in the game. But the most dangerous one of all is a reactivist. And this is a person who, as soon as they find out it happened, oh God, the sky is falling. Okay? They don't even know what they're yelling about. This is what he's talking about. If people wait for it to get to Facebook, it's too late. Get involved, be a part of the solution, or you are the problem. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Good job. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Hey, you dropped the 10. How are you doing?
So do you have stickers here for for me from
No, we're still trying to get that.
She's like, hi. She's talking about me.
I know.
We just blew up the post. I just blew up on movie sites.
I gotta say, what you guys do.
I did a small one in one of my smaller stores and put it on the side. You guys are ready. You already folded it everywhere. When we get the big ones up, I'm really good. Like I said, we try to get as much as we can.
You're a responsible authority. We
When I
don't
get back to
think that we think this is. We're not like a. You've noticed.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for checking out.
If you gave me the right number.
Yeah, you can see us. Okay. Yeah, and there's my friend somewhere over there.
Yeah, somebody's making us into the right
Continue
number.
to grow, you know, we're throwing monthly contributions. I'm just really, I've been sharing a lot and trying to reach out to the vape shops around. I lost my glasses, they broke, so.
Thing to see if you were, I didn't know who I was reading to see if it said like staff or anything. That's why I was looking so
Oh, does it?
Well, and those are the ones that I saved on all around. They're saying 250 stores only apply for the tax. Well, and you guys, I mean, you receive the same paperwork I got, right? Like, came in the mail that said that if you're selling vapor shop products, you have to register, so they can't say vapor shop. You know. I got one from anything really effective. And they don't, I was raised a child in school, so for me, I see it, I mean, I'm like, and I've been, you'll see it reflected on Facebook page or anything. I advocate all the time, I'm always on free bottles of juice, capsule things, all kinds of nutrition, all kinds of things to get active as well. I mean, all of those in Carolina, yeah, and they've got we have 3 now, so our second one's in Brandy and our last one. What shop was it? Outer Vapes. If the fire chief doesn't have a CO, then I'll have another one. He seems to be the right vape, so it's like, this is just one of my store managers' names. We get all of our employees very active in it. We hand out castle, we just got our flyers for you guys in, so they're going to be getting those. So your employees have to sticker out soon. Anything that's wrong, please let me know. Thank you
so much.
Just a quick question.
How long is it out? We're looking, so I don't know about the TV show because that was actually one we didn't know that actually got up. I think it's just that's why I'm asking. Yeah, well, that's what that's originally what we were talking about, is how the website connection with in the distribution for like vapor distribution, not because they film distribution. So we're like, oh, we can get them in the shops. Like, so I'm like, check out those. Right now that we didn't have the idea for it to go as a series, but now that they're looking at series, we're not sure. It's looking strong in the next it's just we have just finish up all the things. We just want to get into that.
Well, I can't tell you that I'm not a chemist.
For a good chemist, I can work with me on my
read another chapter on it.
That's actually our shop too.
Smoking because, it's an alternative, but, still, that's what we focus on.
In case somebody were to call, it's not a handful of them, it's not.
If that's all it is, and the FDA has proven that it's food grade product. So we can drink it and eat it.
So where are your shops in Virginia? Okay, in Virginia, and you have another shop? But I don't think the same thing are. My parents, well, a lot of people I say it, they're like, I'm not sure. But we're not, my parents.
Really? Oh my God.
A lot of people are like, yeah, they have Southport, Leland, and Shopping. No, just me in that area. Oh, well, but yeah, people are like, oh. And then we do, yeah, well, we're the same way, like, we're, yeah,
Maybe
I moved out there, so. But yeah, we, whenever, I said it for a long time, people got really interested.
I'm interested. So I'm assuming we don't have one. There was no.
But we moved the farm, opened up a different type of, we can focus on,
Reach out to me. I love when we saw them working. So that we were dealt with, we can go through information on vice versa, so we can be a team, saying, okay, here's what we did before, we see what we did before. That's what you see me and my wife, this is what happened, and they go to the desk. That's what happened to do something, so I call it chilling. I think he was really big with that. He comes over and says, okay, so we made her from the registering line, he volunteered to start first, so we can give enough funds to kind of start taking him a little bit of what his firm wanted. But if you need help organizing something, you don't know what comes out there.
I mean, even to start.
You can check would be a great step.
I never even thought about it until something happened.
And I think the more we work together.
You guys have Facebook or any kind of.
We have Facebook, we also have the website, ncvapingcouncil.com.
They go all over the country. That's awesome. Our goal was to do that this year.
I'm so tired.
Maybe I think it would be great to have like a team effort. Hey, how can we work together?
My thing is like, I
It's actually
The high, right. I can deal with in-store stuff. Keeping people happy in businesses.
I've defused situations between my buddies, company, another company. I know how to deal with basic people, but to start talking to the state or even county, our city mayor, whoever I guess that would be. Yeah, I don't know. It's just beyond the level that I know anything about. So I would need guidance from people who have already gone through this and know what.
The biggest thing would be most of the time, he has lots of contacts. I don't. You know, so the biggest thing would be one, creating that organization. Finding out if you have a lobbyist or if there is an organization out there. And getting up that lobbyist, because that lobbyist is going to know the right people to talk to. He's your connection to everybody. I couldn't tell you why county commissioner was. He can't.
And that's my point is.
You don't want to wait until the storm starts happening. You're not even taxed. When it's coming, North Carolina did it, I'm sure South Carolina's going to come right back behind.
It was just a thing.
They said the biggest thing would be just making sure that you realize. So there's so many times that like people don't want to see it, and I'm going up, and as soon as like I get that one person, I've got a lady
Tax sales of these security guards containing nicotine at 5 cents per milliliter.
Following North Carolina.
Required e-cigarette retailers to report nicotine related products from other states to obtain a license to sell tobacco products regulations. Making it criminal for consumers to buy the tax e-cigarettes on vape unless they file a tax return. So the revenue is each month.
Looks like a lot of that is being moved from North Carolina. So
You guys kept talking about RJR, is that RJR?
Yes.
Okay, so he's involved in this too.
So it looks like, and according to that, it looks like they're starting to see what happens in North Carolina and Maryland. So what they're going to attack Carolina is if they know what's being done to help attack it in South Carolina. It'd be great alliance.
Absolutely. Even so, I would love to, even if all I do is organize it and let people like yourselves know the politics side of everything. I don't have to be one that's the voice that I serve, because I don't know what to say. But if I can just take you and together, you know, versions of y'all in South Carolina and go, okay, here, go.
Do you know South Carolina has a lobbyist for e-cigarettes? No. Because they just passed, they passed some laws.
There it is.
I guess they're passing or whatever, something came up.
Yeah,
But it looks like it's.
I know.
You're good.
Stefan, Virginia doesn't have a lobbyist, do they?
What?
Virginia's some meeting on
Yeah. They're starting to.
No, they're starting to come together.
I know Norfolk.
Requiring a tobacco license.
Doing some sort of a.
Make it illegal to buy untaxed products.
Become part of the society.
File those Department of Revenue.
That's not on the zero.
Yeah, that's what I see. Or what we're finding too, is they make mistakes, we're going to 12 and 0, so things come to once and not 0. But we don't want to.
What bothers me about
What scares me is